The top Republican and Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, they've promised a bipartisan investigation in their Russia probe, not what we've seen in the House of Representatives, where questions surrounding Intel Chairman Devin Nunes has brought that committee's work pretty much to a halt right now. Want to discuss right now with Republican Congressman Rick Crawford of Arkansas. He is a member of the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman, thanks so much for being with us. I have to ask, if you had a chance to watch yesterday the chairman and the ranking member of the Senate Intelligence Committee give their press conference, answer questions together, getting along, did you see that and watch with a little bit of envy?
Oh, not necessarily. I think that we have a different dynamic over here in the House, but Chairman Nunes and Ranking Member Schiff have certainly done joint press conferences before, and I suspect that they'll do them again. I think there's a little difference of opinion at this point. But we'll work through all that. But I think we're fine. A
little difference of opinion. I mean, you've had public hearings canceled, private hearings canceled. You guys aren't even meeting as a full committee this week. That's when you say that's a different dynamic. That's a dynamic that's doing nothing right now, correct?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily characterize it that way. I mean, if, for example, the open hearing that we had last week was really not very productive, and I think the American people want to see open hearings simply because they want to see evidence that we are in fact doing some things. But the fact is, an open hearing is very challenging, and I think that if you review the video, you'll find that Director Comey and Admiral Rogers no less than 100 times said that they couldn't comment in that forum. So, for us to be productive and to move forward on this investigation, I think it's important that we recognize the value of closed-door hearings when we're dealing with this sensitive information. And I think that's kind of where we're at right now, is both getting to that point where we recognize the value of closed-door hearings versus trying to arrive at the truth in an open setting where they're constrained by classification laws.
The American people did learn at that public hearing that the FBI is investigating possible ties between Trump associates and the Russians, is investigating coordination there. Isn't that important for the public to have heard?
It is very important for the public to be aware of that. The nature of the investigation, however, is highly sensitive, and therefore I think it should remain behind closed doors in order for it to be productive.
Chairman Nunes, the ranking member Adam Schiff, they will meet today. They're going to get together, we think, to try to work out their differences. What do you want to see from them?
You know, I think that they have the same perspective. They want to get to the truth. They might differ on how they get there. We feel like it's more productive to bring individuals in that closed setting so we can actually get some information that they're unable to disclose in a public forum. Ranking Member Schiff, I think, will probably get to that point as well. I think he wants to be included, and that's understandable. And I think that's what you'll hear today, is the two of them working out the differences to move forward on that.
On the subject of disclosure, Democrats are saying that your chairman, Chairman Nunes, isn't disclosing to them information he says he has. This has to do with the chairman's claim that he's seen intelligence apparently on White House grounds, indicating that the president's associates were picked up in incidental communication. Listen to what Adam Schiff said about this last night.
We have a chairman who got information on the White House grounds that he won't share, not just with Democrats, but with his own committee. And I just don't know how to conduct a credible investigation if you have, let alone one person, but the chairman of the committee who's saying, I've seen evidence, but I won't share it with anyone else. What are we to make of that?
You just talked about the importance of disclosure to your committee. What does it say if your own chairman won't disclose his information?
I don't think that's necessarily fair to say that he won't disclose it. I think he'll disclose it at an appropriate time, and I feel like that's the determination and the judgment that he made. He's been on this committee a long time. He knows what he's doing, and I have complete faith that he's going to do the right thing, which he is doing. He's acting well within his charter as chairman of the House Intelligence Committee.
He says he's never going to share the sources.
Well, then that's a decision that he'll have to make.
There is a question. Ryan Lizza of The New Yorker reported that he believed the White House was aware, prior even to your public hearing last Monday, that Devin Nunes, your chairman, was going to discuss incidental communications and things that were picked up, maybe even disclose later on that Trump associates were in that. He had the sense that the White House was aware of what Chairman Nunes would do. If there was communication and coordination between the White House and the chairman prior to the hearing, prior to his release of that information later in the week, is that problematic?
Well, I think what's problematic is the fact that I think people are conflating the investigation with this new information. That new information has nothing to do with Russia. That we know. And so to try and inject that particular information into the Russia investigation, is the two are
I think
not
the question that people have is the White House trying to orchestrate the investigation into White House associates? That would be problematic, wouldn't it?
It would be, and I don't think that's happening.
Let me change subjects and talk about health care, if I can, because House Speaker
Sure.
Paul Ryan gave an interview, it just aired on CBS moments ago, where he talked about the need for Republicans to come together and try to find some kind of deal again. Now, you voted no on this. Let's stipulate that, or you would have voted no. You
no,
would
I
have
didn't vote no because we didn't have a vote
I was
on it.
Correct. Thank you for that correction. No, you would have voted no.
Sure.
Speaker Ryan said he was talking to Nora O'Donnell. What I worry about, Nora, is that if we don't do this, then he'll just go, he's talking about the president, he'll just go work with Democrats and try to change Obamacare, and that's hardly a conservative thing. Basically,
Right.
he's saying, if we don't get our act together, the president's going to go talk to the Democrats and fix this. That's pretty remarkable. That's a pretty remarkable thing to hear from the Speaker of the House.
Well, it is, and I tell you what I think that we all agree on, is that we need to look at legislation that's going to do a couple of things. One, drive down premiums and drive down deductibles, because that piece of paper that says you have insurance is meaningless if it presents no value to the person that's holding it. And that's the problem that we have, and something we're not talking about, and we should be, is the fact that our insurance, our health care policy right now, I think over time is contributing to a decline in overall health statistics, because people aren't using their health care insurance because it's basically too expensive. So if we're not looking at policy, and quite frankly, I'd like to see the federal government back away from trying to organize and orchestrate and direct health care policy, but strictly to assume the role of trying to stabilize the marketplace, that's a better approach. I don't think has demonstrated very good track record in managing programs like health care.
Just quick question, quick answer. Steve Scalise, your whip, on, earlier this week said he believed you were actually closer to a deal now on health care than when it went down last week. Do you believe that to be the case?
You'd have to talk to Steve Scalise on that. He's the whip, and he has those numbers.
But, of course, you were someone who would vote no, so you would be the type of person that would have to come over and say yes, and if you don't have a feeling yet, that's indicative in and of itself. Congressman Crawford of Arkansas, great to have you.